If you want to easily attract a level 7, you've got to become a level 8. Teaching about vibrations and frequencies and energies as I do is actually teaching about scales. Because you can only easily attract into your life what you represent, what you demonstrate, what you already are. So if you desire this level 7 partner, well, that's easy to attract if you feel yourself or present yourself or experience yourself or define yourself as a level 8 and really believe that and really feel that. Not just define, really, not just say, yeah, well, I'm a level 8, so I deserve. You've got to become that authentically. Then it's no problem. When I say this, people ask me, so how do I become a level 8? And I say that depends on which level you define yourself to be. If you define yourself to be a 4, below mediocre, it's going to take a lot to move up to 8. But if you already feel like a 7, or at least a 6, then it'll take just a little. So generally, you first define what you want, and then you check where and who you are in comparison to that. And you ask yourself the classic reality creation question, which is, who would I have to become to attract that easily? What a powerful question. It's all over my books and videos, but I can't get enough of saying it. I'll say it again. Who would I have to become to easily attract that? Let's say there's a woman or man that you like. You'd like to be with them, but you consider them at a higher level than you. You feel like a 5, and you see them as 9. What's going to happen? Nothing. That's not going to work. Don't waste your time. That woman or man you see as a level 1, 2, 3, or 4, on the other hand, that'll work. That'll be easy. But the problem here is you probably don't want to be with those. So if you're going to set high standards, you better shape up yourself. It's very unbecoming to set high standards without being a representation of that yourself. Now, I'm not saying that you should see everyone in a ranking system. That's nonsensical. Every person is unique, and every person is a level 8, 9, or 10 in something. One person might be a level 8, 9, or 10 in sports. Another might be excellent in art. Another in math. So it's not about putting people down or ranking them. It's about feeling where you are and what you are able to experience in your domain, according to who you are and your energy. What's possible for you? And delusional people always tell me, well, everything is possible for me. I can experience anything I want. Well, you can't. You can experience according to what you allow yourself to experience. You can experience according to your energy. And if you wish to experience more, you must first improve yourself and reach that level. You can't just snap your finger and get it delivered on a silver platter into your lap. However, if you're a level 6, say, then you can get levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 delivered on a silver platter into your lap with the snap of a finger. So whether you can manifest easily or not depends on who you are, where you are in life. So with that woman or man of your dreams at level 9, it might be better to forget about him or her and target someone at level 6 if you feel like a level 5. Just one level up, otherwise you overexert yourself and there's too much work and too much worry involved. Don't go under your standards. I never go below standard. I'd never choose a 4, 3, 2, or 1 just because I feel insecure. Insecure people do that. They choose to hang out with people desperate for attention, That's not something to do. Exploiting those who are with less energy, not something to do. So you might go, if you feel like a 5, you might go with a 6. And if you improve yourself enough so that you feel like a 7, then you can easily attract a 5 or 6. And with some charm, you can also attract a 7 if you feel at level 7. That would be someone at the same level as you, similar to you. And with some confidence, you might even attract an 8 while feeling yourself at 7. But then to uphold that relationship could take a little more work. So the higher you aim, the more work is required. It all depends on you, on how much work you want to invest. If you don't like working too much, then aim for your level. If you love work, then aim way above your level. You see, this is about knowing who you are. Know thyself. Know who you are, how you are seen. Don't be in denial. It all comes down to improving yourself. So what makes a 7, 8, or 9? Well, that's the next higher version of yourself. People always ask me, how can I become an 8? How can I become a 9? But that's up to your imagination, really. In general, through appreciation and care, things are upgraded and improved. And through neglect and lack of care, they decline. So anything can be moved up the scale through appreciation and moved down through neglect. This does not only apply to human beings, of course. If you own a website, you can move your website up from level 5 to level 6, for example, and then from level 6 to level 7. And that's a matter of imagination, first and foremost. That's how important and powerful imagination is. If you can't imagine a higher level, guess what's going to happen? Nothing. So, can you imagine your website one level up? If you have a website? Because if you can imagine that, then you can implement what you imagine. You can do it. And if you can do it, you can experience it. You could improve your living room on a relative scale between 1 and 10, say. You could rearrange some furniture. You could remove something that looks poor. You could add a new plant, for example. And just by doing that, you could move up your living room by 1 point. You could do the same with other rooms. Everything that exists in the universe exists at lower versions of itself and higher versions of itself, and that is just so amazing. You can sense that the awareness of scale and contrast and levels is the key to lifelong improvement. You can move your relationship up and down a scale. So if you allow a lot of fighting and nagging, you move it down. But if you favor listening and not taking your partner for granted, your relationship moves up. Very easy, very simple. Appreciation versus neglect. You can move yourself up a scale too. So, what's your next higher version? Would you take care more of how you look? Would you do more sports, or would you take more care of your work? Would you become more friendly with others? Would you do more of what you enjoy so that you're in a better mood? Would you learn a new skill? Would you start meditating? Would you drop some weight? Would you learn to talk more eloquently? Would you make new friends? You see, there are many ways, thousands, millions of ways to move up the scale. I could name thousands right off the bat, but I won't, because I want you to imagine. It's up to your imagination on how to improve. And usually it's obvious. You know what the next steps would be to improve. Question is whether you will do them. Question is whether you've given up in life and resigned yourself to what is, or whether you still want to improve, expand, and grow. Apathy is not your friend. Never-ending improvement is your friend. So don't ask me how to move up the scale, ask yourself. If you are looking to attract a certain person or type of person, and they don't want you, it simply means that the person defines you as lower on the scale, even if they don't admit that, They'll say, oh, we can be friends, I like you, you're just not my type. Well, somewhere deep inside, they define you as either lower on the scale or too different. People usually call it different because they're polite, they're kind. They don't call it lower, but that's actually what's happening. That's how they feel. And that's okay. That's all right, So what can you do with that? You can either ignore that person and go for someone who likes you as you are. That's a good option. Or you can take that rejection as inspiration to improve. Those are the two paths you can take, and both are completely valid. And of course, all of this not only applies to people, but also to the things you want in life. It applies to everything, really. If the job you want requires a level 9, let's say, a really high level, huge pro, then you have to ask yourself how you could show up as a level 11, for example. How would that be? If you show up to the job interview as an 11, what would that mean? What kind of CV would you need? What kind of attitude? If you don't have the CV, you need attitude. You see? If you don't have the references or experiences, you need the imagination and attitude, and the goals and the enthusiasm. If you don't have the skill, have the enthusiasm. You got to have something that indicates that you're an 11 or a potential 11. Otherwise, you won't get employed by a company that is seeking a 9. Especially if there's 100 other people applying. And if all of this seems kind of stressful to you, well, then don't set high goals, because improvement is not stressful. It's a joy. It's so beautiful. Once you get into it, you become unstoppable. It becomes an addiction, but a positive one. Not an addiction to something that destroys you, such as drugs, but an addiction to improvement. And it may take some time to get into it. Initially, it might be difficult, and like, oh, I don't want to work on this skill or that. And after a while, you keep improving and working on that skill or whatever it is you want to achieve, and it gets easier and easier. And soon you feel invincible regarding that area, regarding that skill, and that makes you more attractive. So you've got to understand how attractive an 8 is to a 7. And that'll give you freedom to attract the 7 easily. So I hope this presentation helped you understand scales, levels, frequencies, and the importance of first improving yourself, and thus becoming attractive to various realities. You don't get in life what you want, you get who you are. And this presentation is an in-depth explanation of that. If you benefited from it, please recommend it and share it. Thank you very much.